Good morning. This is morning of day 8. Anthony Lemley here with the Lemley Brothers Get Juiced. Hey, I want to take a moment today to talk about why I do this, why this adventure, why this juice fast, why this video, just why everything is important, and remind everybody why we're doing this. Me and my brother have started this juice fast after seeing the movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I have been fat, sick, and crippled for 17 years with my rheumatoid arthritis. Last night I reported that I had just got back from my Rituxan treatment. And I didn't mention then that I take 6 or 7 other medications as well. I'm just pumping my body full of toxins. And of course, I have discussed why we want to do this, but I want to just touch on a few other things. I see that my brother was struggling. I understand his wife, who's been joining him, Stacy, is having a struggle. And myself, it is a struggle. But there's a reason we got to keep it positive. And my brother mentioned running the race, that a runner doesn't focus on his pains along the way. It's the goal at the end. Well, I want to talk about those goals and what they are and what inspires me. Well, of course, this is one reason we want to keep our body healthy. Why do we want our body healthy? I'm going to tell you a few reasons why I want to. So I'm going to step away from our typical juice. I don't know how. I'm not going to necessarily be focusing on what I may have been started with when I first focused on this project, and that was to juice for so many consecutive days because I saw the other guy do it and he lost all this weight. But it's more than that. So when you find it tough, and well, two things I want to first off mention: in Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, this guy juiced it for 60 days and he lost a lot of weight and he did get himself on a track and so forth. But it's really not the healthiest way to do this. If you go to his website now, you will see that he actually put up a 15-day reboot program, which does not consist of steady fasting. It's fasting, eating, and so forth. So I started to see that I was losing track of why we're doing this. So I want to take a minute and talk about why we want to improve our health, not why we want to have a juice fast. Juicing is a very important part of being healthy, I have learned, because it is the best way for me to put concentrated nutrients into my body to let it absorb, to give it the things it needs. It's kind of like a fish aquarium. If you don't filter that water, have you ever seen how a fish aquarium will get dirty? It slowly gets dirty and nasty and built up with gunk. And then the fish become unhealthy and then they start to die. So let's look at our cells like we would fish in a fish tank. The dirtier that water is, the less chance we have of our fish surviving, the less chance of our cells surviving if our system is dirty. And, in America now, I'm 47 years old, and I guess I'm part of the generation that's been raised my whole life eating wrong foods. In the movie Forks Over Knives, one of the first clips they show was nurses being taught in the 50s the wrong stuff. We had it wrong. I'm not saying anybody was bad, but we had it wrong. Milk is not good for us. Many of the foods they taught us over the years were not good for us. And now when we get sick, they want to give us medicines, and nobody's telling us. Well, somebody is, and thank God for you people who are telling us. All the doctors, the do-gooders, everybody who is trying to tell us and have for decades, this is not new, telling us that we can heal ourselves by eating natural food. So thank everybody who does that. And, I wanted to take a minute today to talk about some of the reasons why we would change our diet. We change for ourselves. That's kind of how I started for myself. I want to beat this rheumatoid arthritis. I would like to lose some weight. Of course I would, just like the guy in the movie. But guess what? There's more to it than that. Our personal health and vitality is more important than we even think about. It's important to us personally and to everyone around us. Now, me personally, I put some of my toys behind me so you can see it in this video. Some of the things that are important to me, that bring me joy, that I do, and are hindered because of my arthritis, because of me being overweight, because of my back, or I can't walk as good. Over here you see my baby. This is my Canon 7D. I love to do nature photography, but you know what? It requires me getting out into nature. I have to walk. I have to have that energy. I have to have the vitality. And while I'm out there, you know, I get to see nature. And I really love the nature. And I get to see how God has created this magnificent world. It's a wonder. Wait a minute. Listen, Louis in the back. I love this song. People going by, I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do? Sorry about that, lost me for a second, but you know, Louis got it right. It is a wonderful life. It's a wonderful world. Life is great. It's up to us to make sure that we stay around for this. We need to stay around for our families. We need to stay around for our children. We need to focus on making ourselves happier if anybody else is going to be happy. And, you know, it is not normal for a healthy body to be diseased. So I stopped and took a look at my history of my family. And I've had certain people tell me, oh, it's genetic. My rheumatoid is genetic. And I hear people say, oh, I'm overweight, but it's genetics, my whole family. Well, it's not genetic. Perhaps I have a genetically disposition and have weak cells that may be weaker and under certain circumstances will grow rheumatoid arthritis faster than other people. But no, it's not an accident and it's not genetic. I poison my body. Simple as that. I am responsible, nobody else. Yes, the outside world, the outside media bombards us. We become, quote, victims in our own mind, but in the end, we are responsible for what we put in, and we are responsible for our vitality. It is not normal to have stroke, to have heart attack, to have arthritis, to have cancers. That is not normal. It is not normal for the average person to have to wear a brace on their foot like I do every day, and to have both of my knees replaced before I'm 45 years old, to have my wrist operated on, for me to sit in there and have to do 5 hours of therapy pumping chemicals into my body. This is not normal. So when you find yourself getting weak on your diet, let's take a second and remind ourselves that those things are not normal. We should not be afraid of a heart attack and of a stroke. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to look back on my family, and this was a big eye-opener for me, and this helps me motivate myself as I get going. It's not about I'm trying to keep up with the juice diet that I saw somebody else do, or I'm trying to do the same thing I saw in a movie. You know, Robert, my brother, his doctor told him something when he went in for his checkup before his fast, and she said that it made her sad. It made her sad to see him start this adventure because so many people fail. And she might be right. A lot of people probably do fail because they don't keep track and we don't focus on what we need to do and why we're doing it. We're doing this to prevent disease. We are doing this to protect things that we love. I want to continue to use my camera for many years because that pleases me. Over here, my other toys, my fishing poles. I love to fish. But you know, it's harder and harder as I'm getting older, fatter, and I go out there and it's harder to do it. So I want to continue to do these things, but let's take a moment and talk about the most important parts of our life. Robert, Stacy, this is the reason we're doing this, brother. This is my wife. Excuse me if I get emotional, but I really love her, and I don't want to be crippled for her. I don't want to die and leave her alone. And when I stop and look at my family history, my mother died 3 years ago from cancer, from smoking cigarettes, eating an unhealthy diet. All of her organs broke down and she died from cancer, 72 years old. And my father died when I was 17 from Hodgkin's disease, which is a cancer of the blood. We had totally a toxic poison system. My grandmother, Nani, who was a live-in grandmother, was very much like a mother to me. She had a stroke at our house. And she died from a stroke. And, you know, smoking and drinking. And my grandfather on my father's side died of a heart attack. All of these, and my father was a diabetic. My grandmother was diabetic on my father's side. All of these diseases. My sister is having surgery this week. Another surgery for her, quote, I don't know what they call it, lupus, whatever. She has an arthritic condition as well. I cannot help but think, in fact, the more I study, the more I know that these are diseases that can be prevented. We should not fear these diseases. We can take control of these. So Robert, do this for your kids. Stacy, do it for your kids. Take a look, all of you, Owen, Vaughn, Robert, everybody whom I love and care for, you're parts of my life. And thanks, y'all been my 3 or 4 followers. But all of y'all, take a look around you for a minute. What are the things you enjoy in life? What are the things that are important for us to be healthy for? Why are we doing this? It's not to be a part of a movie. It's not to be the Juice Fast King. It's not to outdo the last video that I saw on YouTube where the guy made it. And you know what? That's great if you can't make it through every day of juicing. And you got to eat. Well, eat some vegetables. That's okay, because what we're doing is working on a lifestyle. We have spent a lifetime. I've spent 47 years eating incorrectly. These are habits that are set into my mind and my soul. We have to change these habits. Does not happen overnight. It does not. And, you know, they say that it takes 30 days to break a habit. So if we're on day 6, day 7, don't you worry, brother. You just hang in there and you do whatever it is that you can. Do avoid overeating as well when you reach for a vegetable. It is in moderation, and it is about eating quality foods and processes. So everybody, take a look at your family history. How have people died in your family? How have your friends died? Who is sick that you know today? And ask yourself, is that a preventable illness? I believe most of them are. And if they're not totally preventable, they are definitely can be improved. So everybody, take a good look at our life. Let our motivation today be what I'd mentioned a few days ago in one of my videos, a lesson I learned from Tony Robbins. The quality of life is only as good as the quality of questions that we ask ourselves. So today, let's ask ourselves, how healthy is my family? Is my health condition genetic? Or is it just something I brought on myself? Let's ask ourselves the question, how has my family died? Let's look at our family tree. How have people died? How are my friends dying right now? Is that preventable? Most of the time the answer is going to be yes. So let's ask some better questions today. Do your kids want to see you alive? Do you want to be alive for your kids? Do you want to breathe better, feel better, walk better? Yeah, look better. Looks are nice to have, but that's just a side effect. Ask yourself these questions. Can I go another day? This is tough. Can I handle this? Can I remain on this program? Yes, you can if you ask yourselves, why am I doing this? So that you can use your toys, so you can take care of your loved ones and stay around for them. Whatever your reason is, it is not normal to be diseased in a healthy body. It is preventable. So anybody who's having a time struggling, take a moment, look around in your life, ask yourself the real question, why am I doing this? How can I get through it? The answer is going to be the same, because there's things in life you love, including yourself. So that's my message this morning. Sorry I made it so long, but I really had to mention this. I was in the shower and I started thinking about it. I was listening to Louis Armstrong. You got to do things in your life that bring you happiness as well. Diet is part of it. There's a lot of mental behind it as well. And of course, I'm no doctor or therapist, but if you're not doing things that make you happy, a lot of people do tend to fall back on food. That's why you have to find a hobby. I found my fishing, my photography. I have a kayak. I try to go outdoors. I just try to be out. So find something to keep yourself occupied, to make yourself happy, so that you don't have to fall back on a crutch. But either way, Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the support for everybody. Brother Robert, I love you. Stacy, Esther, everybody, I love you guys. And Owen and Vaughn, keep it up. And I hope that these silly videos can be an inspiration to someone, somewhere, somehow. I do want to check my notes. I had written things down I want to talk about. Make sure I've covered them all. And you know, today I mentioned I do feel better than yesterday, because yesterday I was really sluggish. That's kind of how our whole life is. Today we might feel bad, and I'm saying this just in general as today in a time slot. In a few weeks, in a few months, in a few years, we will feel better. Just like I feel better today because some of those toxins have made it through my system, that medicine I took yesterday. I feel better today. We can all feel better in our lives, in every aspect of our lives, and in everybody that we affect in our lives. So it's so important to take a look at that. We talked about family history. Take a real good look at that. Who is sick? Who died? How they die? And is that how you want to die? And do you want to be sick? And you know, some of us have parents who cook great food, and that's become a part of our family life. But let's take a moment and realize that they love you. They're going to love you if you stop eating their food. They're going to love you still if you don't eat their cakes and cookies. We need to break that line of communication that says, I show my love by bringing you food that's unhealthy. So remember that. If that is your case at all in your family, don't hesitate to say, oh, I'll hurt my mom's feelings because she's going to bring, it's Thanksgiving's coming up and they're going to bring me pies and treats and cookies. Don't eat them. And it doesn't say you don't love your mother for making them or whoever brings them to you or your friends. But, express to them that, you know what? I love you so much, Mother, that I must not eat these because I want to stay alive and I want to show you vitality. I want to show you the child that you have reared, and I can be healthy and set examples for others as well. And just remember that it is not normal for us to have these diseases, to fear these diseases. They are preventable. So do what you need to do. Hang in there, everybody. This is the end of my video for day 8 in the morning. I'll report at the end of the day as to how I feel throughout the day. So everybody, get juiced, number 1, but don't just focus on the juice. Let's get healthy. I need to rename this. Let's get healthy. Dang it, it is time that we stop being sick, stop being fat, stop doing all these things that we are not happy with. If I haven't mentioned it, you know what it is. So today, let's just be better, be all we can be. God bless everybody. Lemley Brothers Get Juiced. Anthony Lemley checking out.